You're listening to the Hawke Media Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and executives crush the digital marketing game. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. Let's get into the show.
All right, you're listening to HawkeTalk. I'm here today with Josh Richards. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. All right, so to kick it off, I always have to ask, did you just you were born and then just immediately started creating content and dancing on video and making investments? Where did it all start? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm from Canada, outside of Toronto, a really small town called Cobourg. And I started my whole social media when I was 14. I had my sister put me in a video. She had asked to do some musically dance trend. It was just something that was going around our school and everyone was filming videos to it. So she asked me to be in it. It did really well on her account, blew up. And myself just being competitive, wanting to kind of see what was going on. And then also, 14-year-old Josh seeing 10 girls comment about how good looking he is was kind of oh, okay, I can see myself doing this maybe, right? So I created an account, instantly go about it just in a very growth hacking type of way. I was always really into numbers. My dad's a math teacher, and just social media also always intrigued me. So I instantly had my sister put on a 15% commission-based salary. I had her logged into my Musical.ly account, and I would actually utilize the live stream feature a lot. That's how I kind of got my start, how I really got an engaged fan base, because I knew you would have to be a lot more of an active or engaged fan if you're going to sit there and watch me go live for hours straight, right?
She's older or younger?
My sister's a year younger than me.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah. So I knew hey, I'm going live. They're going to have to be the most engaged people. They're sitting there watching me for 4 hours. So what I would do is I would go live every single day for 4 hours long. It allowed me to gain a fan base in an app that was kind of on the decline. Musical.ly was going on its way out. And then a cool feature it had with the live streams was it actually every single 24 hours, there would be a leaderboard that would update and show you who the top spending gift contributor was on the app. So the person that's donating the most money to their favorite streamer is getting on this leaderboard. And I would have my sister logged into my account going through that top 250 people and unfollow them, like 10 of their videos, and then just go through the whole list while I'm live. Those people that send all that money and had that money lying around, those customers that spent the most,
yep,
they would see my notification, following them, liking their video, whatever it is, see as well that I'm live. And they're like, oh, this is some new person in my feed. I want to check out what they're doing. Oh, they're live as well. Perfect time to check them out. Let me go on their live. I see they joined my live. I knew it would be in red, their username, because I'm already following them. So I knew to give extra attention to them. And I really just was kind of hacking my way into making money on this live streaming app, and eventually grew to the point where it started exponentially growing itself. And I was just very scheduled out. I was doing 3 videos a day as soon as I woke up. It was an hour.
Are you still 14? Did this all pick up right away?
It's the first summer, I believe I went, or I should say the first year, I went from 0 to 100K. So from that start of the summer all the way to the start or end of next year's summer, right? That I was at probably 100,000 followers. And then
I want to get back into just real quick, because I want to take it back first and then get into the progression. Take me back to when it started. So your dad's a math teacher.
Yeah.
What would your mom do, or did she stay at home?
My mom's a speech pathologist.
Cool. And so growing up, were you into dancing or acting, or was there a performance side to you as a young kid?
Funny, I did do dancing. For 1 year, I did breakdancing lessons when I was probably 8, 7 years old, just because I thought it was cool to breakdance. Yeah, I thought I used to know how to breakdance as a 7-year-old. I don't know why, but I did.
Actually,
but it wasn't I was this kid that was acting left and right, and then in plays. And I was an athlete. I was in hockey and lacrosse and soccer and basketball and doing cross country and track and field and swimming. So I mean, I was just used to being around a lot of people, right? I was always used to being either in a dressing room and making people laugh, or being in my classroom and being a class clown, or going anywhere I went. I just love to make people laugh, and I love to be that center of attention kind of. So I think that's what really drove me to start creating content, or having that love for creating content.
And were your parents, like, when you first started doing this, were they super encouraging? Were they like, yeah, have fun, the internet? Like, or were they a little weirded out by the fact that you were getting all these followers and going live? Like, how were they?
Yeah. So my parents, like, I couldn't ask for a better set of parents in the industry I'm in, for like the amount of support they've always given me, everything. Like, really just, they're my role models. And I think that because I had been such a hustler as a kid and always just trying to find ways to make money, if that was the hockey shirt brand I had, where I was putting on slangs and chirps and logos, or if that was me creating my lacrosse mesh company where I was dyeing mesh and wax coating it. Like, they were used to me doing these crazy ventures. So when social media came, it was definitely still a discussion. They sat me down. They're like, Josh, why is my PayPal getting $600 sent to it a week? Like, are you a drug dealer? What's going on? And then also just them always wanting to figure out, and kind of, they just like to know what I'm doing. Like, they just wanted to be able to support me and really be able to kind of learn about the space that I'm growing in.
Awesome. Got it. So to take it back to that. So in the first year, you got to 100,000 followers on, it was still Musically after year one, right?
Yeah. It was still Musically after year one. And it changed over, I believe, in like 2019, like the start of 2019 or 2018.
Took a while.
Yeah.
Got it. And what year, I guess, going back, how old were you when you were 14? What year is that?
That would have been the summer of 2016.
Okay, cool. Got it. And so you get to 100,000. When did you start this process of like 3 pieces of content a day, like being super disciplined about it?
Essentially right from the beginning.
Okay.
I mean, when I was doing it, I was doing it to hit 10,000 followers in 2 months, and I wasn't going to not hit my goal. So I knew I had to post a minimum of 3 videos a week. I found that worked the best. I found that would get me the most followers per day. And I knew that my sister and I had to go and reach out to a minimum of, I think it was a minimum of receiving 250 followers a day. So we were doing that liking and following until we knew 250 people followed me back every single day. And it was like this very task list, go about it type of way.
And where'd you get that discipline from? I mean, 14 years old, usually you don't have that like constant discipline. Was it from being an athlete? Like, where was that, like just putting in the time every day and grinding?
I think the biggest thing is definitely from sports, and also having my dad as a coach. I think that helped a lot too. Just learning to be disciplined, and when I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 100%. I mean, I was out in my garage every day shooting 500 pucks a day, every single day, working on my backhand, working on my forehand. And it was like, it was always something that was a part of my life, where I don't need to be naturally skilled at it, or someone that just like is lucky. I'm going to be the best at it because I worked the hardest. And I knew I wasn't the kid that had that luck. Like, I wasn't the biggest kid when I was younger. I was really small, right? Still am. And like, I'm a really light kid. So like, I didn't even have the strength to lift the puck off the net or off the ice for a long time when I was playing hockey. And so what I decided to do was, all right, all these kids are starting to get into flick shots and they can finally flick this puck up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my backhand, and I'm just going to only focus on that for every day, 500 shots back and back. And what ended up happening is I got stronger from doing those backhand shots and learned how to raise it for my forehand. But at the same time, I was the only kid in the league now that was at this young age able to have these dangles with my hands and put it on my backhand and put it in the net. So it was like, I didn't need the natural skill. I was always just going to be the hard worker.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we talk about it all the time internally. Like, natural skill gets you to about 25 years old as an athlete. After that, it's the people that practice the most, that work the hardest, that get there, that succeed. Yeah. Kobe Bryant, et cetera. He had natural skill too, but he was also in the gym every day at 5 a.m. So even when he was the best. Okay, so you got to that 100,000 mark. What happened? Give me the story from there. What ended up happening? Like, when did this start becoming like a profession? You said you were making $600 here and there, but when did you really start monetizing this?
Yeah, so the real monetization started coming in, I would say another year following, right? So it was probably, you do a year of growth. I get to that 100K. That's when I start making that like, oh, I'm making $100 when I go live for 30 minutes, right? Or I'm making next live. It's like, oh, wow, I went live for 4 hours. I just came out with $700. Like, what the heck? And I slowly started seeing this. It was inconsistent at the start, but spike in my lives. I would have these massive lives out of nowhere. And then more often than not, every live became a big live. And I would be having sleepovers at my friends, like going live, hanging out all together, and then playing games. Like we're maybe telling them what to comment. Whoever comments this emoji first, we're following them. Or maybe it's a challenge between me and my boys. If it's a smoothie challenge, we're blending up 3 random ingredients. You have to drink it and tell us what's in those 3 random, like in that smoothie, right? So it was always just doing creative things to keep people engaged. But I remember my friends like sitting there freaking out because I went live, and in I think 15 minutes, I was live for 7 minutes, 15 minutes, like such a little amount of time. And I made $1,500. Like I had $1,500 sent to me, and I was 16, 17 years old. And like my 2 friends beside me that are working like their jobs that they work, and they're usually razzing on me saying like, oh, you don't have a real job, you do social media. And then like they're working every day to make like $10 an hour. And I'm sitting there for 7 minutes and just made $1,500. And they're just like jaw to the floor. What just happened?
Yeah. And so, okay. And at that point, you're what, 16, 17 years old?
Yeah, 16, 17.
Cool. And you're still in Canada, right?
Still in Canada. I moved from Canada when I was 17, but it was right near the end of it. It was like my last month of being 17 years old.
Got it. And so you went through high school and then decided to come to the US, or what was that kind of?
I didn't even finish my high school before I came to the US. I was in my senior year when I came.
Got it. And did you end up finishing like remotely, or you dropped?
No, I just dropped out of high school.
Cool. And where'd you move originally? Like what took you to the US? Like, tell me about that part of the story. Like what made you, actually, I'd like to be curious, what made you the decision to drop out and all of it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that in today's generation, when we talk about a high school dropout or a college dropout, in a lot of ways, be a positive and a negative. I think when, you look at things like the Peter Thiel Fellowship, where they're actually paying you money to not go to school. Like they don't want that for some kids because they know that's not the route for everyone, right? And they know that you can be doing bigger or better things or actually have that hands-on experience. And that's who I was as a person. Like I would go through school and be standing up at my desk, walking around, like fidgeting with things, ripping papers up just because of like ADHD, but also just like I'm someone that has to be like hands-on. I got to be moving. I got to be doing something. So when I had the opportunity to either continue 5 more years of school where I'm going to get essentially told the same stuff I've been told already, and writing down notes and sitting down in class, and have 5 more years of not actually going out and doing, but listening still. Or I have the opportunity at a young age, before I'm even done high school, to go and do what I would want to do when I'm finished college. Like it just didn't make sense not to drop out. Right. It like I was given this opportunity that only a fool would pass up on. So I took the shot, I took the opportunity, and it seemed to work out so far. And I'm just, every day working at it.
I agree with you. I think that, but high school, college, whatever it is, there's a lot of people that are ready before you're done. Like for me, college, even college was a time for me to grow up. I needed it. Like I personally, college benefited me from a personal level, not academically, fucking nothing, but I needed some time to grow up. I graduated at 21, and that's when I was ready to go into the real world.
Right.
Some people are ready at 16. My dad moved out at 15. Like there's people he barely his parents let him go live on his own at 15 if he agreed to finish high school, but he got like straight D's and never went. Guy's a very successful guy. So there isn't a limitation there. Other than, it might be worth getting your diploma at some point just for the.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's always something I've wanted to do, or go back and get later, just so that I have like my high school diploma. But it's not something I look at as like life defining, or I need it to do what I want to do, or to be happy, or to,
You're already there. Like you've already had enough success at this point that even if you just started, resting on this, which you're not going to do, you'd be all right. You're going to be no one's going to ask you where you went to high school or college at this point. You're past it. All right. So where did you move to LA right away? Where'd you end up from Canada? Like, how did that transition happen?
Yeah. The move was really to start TalentX. Like I had to be in LA. I had to be here to co-found TalentX with all the other co-founders and start that management company. But it was also Sway. And
did you know those guys through TikTok, or like, how did you actually know the guys you co-founded with? How'd you meet Michael and all those guys?
Yes. So finish doing social media like on my own, right? Like I'm at this point now where I have a manager. It's go back to probably the summer of like 2018, or maybe even before that. I signed with a manager. I'm really young at this point. I think I was 16 or 15 when I signed with the manager. So it was a while ago. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I had grown a big following.
What happened to your sister at that point and her 15%?
My sister decided that she didn't really want to be a part of it. I wanted my siblings, like my brother and my sister, actually to do social media with me. Like I had created a whole family channel. I was very pro them doing social media, but it just wasn't for them. The thing is every kid is always dreaming, or they always say like, I would love to be a social media creator, right? Like that's their dream. That's every kid's dream right now. Yeah. And something that was so cool to me to see was that two Gen Z kids, the people that would always say they want to be a social media influencer, who got to live with one, who actually got to like see what behind the scenes is, see what it does to your mental health, see how people treat you differently, see what you have to miss out on, see like what it takes to actually be successful. They would want to do anything else. Like they would not want to do it. It's crazy because everyone else is like, yeah, that's the easiest job ever. Of course I'd want to do it. But my sister, who's like literally there watching me do it and helped me, was like, this is the last thing I would ever want to do with my life. Like I don't want to do this. And it's funny.
People miss out on the perception of the job versus reality. Like people think all it is getting invited to great dinners and being in the news and posting videos and everybody loves you. And it's like, no, there's a lot of work that goes into the behind the scenes and a lot of management.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And so you're going through, you got management. Sorry. And I interrupted you. And
no, it's all good. Yeah. Sorry. I do that sometimes, but yeah, got management. And it had gone really bad. Like the management, like I have said so many times, it just was not there in the space. There was no managers protecting the creator at this point. And I started to hear a lot of things from other companies coming directly to me saying how like my manager was losing me deals. And then like even some of my friends that I started making in social media, like their managers were coming to me and like talking to me. It was just like this really weird situation. So I pretty much was, I was getting like pretty big at this point. I'd gotten invited on a tour, a couple tours, the Lights Out tour and Boys of Summer. And I'd wanted to do them. And my manager was saying, I'm not allowed. Like, no, you can't do them. This is bad for your image. Like, this is bad for your image. This is terrible. You can't do this. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm good to manage myself now. So that's when I kind of made the decision, like, see you later. And realized like I'd been pretty manipulated through that contract to like feeling like I needed a manager. So that's like some advice for social media creators. Like, don't think you need it right at the start, or like, don't think that first guy coming to you, that first contract is ever going to be the best. Like, just take your time, figure your stuff out. But yeah, then decided to go on the tour, met all the boys, like met Griffin, met Brett, or I'd known Bryce a little bit at this point, but I met Griffin, met Anthony, met Jaden, and we just killed it on tour. We did awesome. It was super successful. And then came payments and we all got completely ripped off. Like the tour made over $1 million, I think, like profit, I think. And I believe I got paid $750 cash. Like that's it. Or PayPal $750. So I could have gone live on TikTok for 15 minutes and literally done the same thing. But I was just, I was shocked, right? Like I just did 2 months of touring, yes, it gave me a massive blow up and it did definitely catapult my career, but it was just this huge shock to me that these companies could get away with this, like treating these creators like this and treating these young, kids about it. Like I wasn't 18, I was 17 at the time. So I meet Michael in LA after the tour. We're there, we're chilling at Bryce Hall's house. I brought all my friends from tour because, like I said, I kind of knew of Bryce, not really, was hanging out in LA with all the tour friends after and wanted a place to go chill. So I hit up Bryce and Bryce and Michael. So then I ended up talking to Michael. I'm talking to him about the creator space. There's no UTA, there's no WME, there's no CA, nothing. They're not managing TikTokers, right? They're not coming in and signing anyone yet. And TikTok isn't even close to mainstream at this point. There's no YouTubers on it. There's no, this is at the point where it's like everyone is hating on this app. People are calling all of us TikTokers like fake followers. We're buying our likes. This is like at this point. And I talked to Michael about it. And he's like, yeah, let's talk about doing something like TalentX. And he had always been known in the creator space because he was always connecting people and giving out his connections. So it just was like this perfect fit.
Awesome. And so when was that? That was 2 years ago?
That would have been near the end of the summer of 2019.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So not even 2 years.
And so you guys got this kicked off. You had the TikTok thing going. I assume, because I know Michael and he's on the podcast too, he started getting you guys tons of deals because that's what he does.
Yeah.
And then you guys had a pretty big thing to do with Triller, right? Was that kind of the next big step there?
I think the biggest step after TalentX would have been Annie Energy.
Okay, yeah, you want that, but but with TalentX, did you all move into the house after that? Is that with the Sway house and all that? Did that come right after TalentX?
Yep, essentially right away. So Sway house was all a part of the TalentX, I would say, announcement. That was a big part of it. So all the TalentX stuff came out. I knew I had to be in LA to actually partly operate it, start hiring some talent, going out networking, meeting TikTokers, getting them to come sign. And so we all went and moved in together January 5th, I believe, or January 5th is when I went down. All the other boys got down there January 3rd. And we all started creating that content together. We started the Sway house. We were a little bit of a different brand than I would say we are now, or at least some of us are. And it definitely affected our brand deals. So that's why we were so focused right away on owning everything we touch and creating Annie Energy, the energy drink company, and just really stepping fully into the entrepreneurial world.
I was gonna say, so that, I'm curious about that in terms of your individual thought process. So you've got brands that start paying you, you're making money that way. Where did that kind of come from that you wanted to start Annie, that you wanted to own your own brand? Was that because you were losing brand deals because they disagreed with what you were doing, or what drove the idea of creating your own companies?
Yeah, there's kind of two answers to this question. I think that what drives me the most to create companies in general is that entrepreneurial spirit. And I just love that part of creation, the idea part, the brainstorming, that's something I think I'll always do. And it's why I love content too, is that creation piece to it. But for the actual idea behind Annie, that was because Bryce and I were shotgunning Red Bulls in our YouTube videos. And we started seeing this trend being formed on TikTok where people were challenging us to shotgun energy drinks, and probably not the greatest trend to start. I hope we didn't give anyone heart attacks or heart palpitations or whatever, but it was a trend and it started and it got millions of views. And we are sitting there almost beating ourselves up because we are giving all this free ad space to Red Bull and we're not getting $1. We're not getting paid anything. So Bryce and I at that point were we are tired of giving more to these brands than they're giving to us. Let's just start creating our own. Yep. And that's where Annie really was formed. I went to Michael, and Michael got the team together. He went and knew Evan Burns, who ran Long Drink and has done an amazing job with that. So we knew that it would just be this dream team.
Got it. And when did you kick that off?
The start of, I think it was officially like released, like you could buy it in August. I think that's when we started.
And like, I just want to highlight how fast this was. So like, you moved to LA basically 2 years ago.
Not even moved to LA a year and 3 months ago.
Yeah. And oh, that's right, because you moved in January.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start TalentX just 2 summers ago, move a year and change ago, 7 months in, start an energy drink company. And then it sounds like, I'm curious, because and again, I know Michael too, at what point did you guys go, we need to start investing, we need to start like really figuring out the business side of things? When did that really start to build?
Yeah, I think that really started probably, I think the big thing was that there were a couple mistakes that were just really big. Like we had fallen into drama a couple times. I had seen this repetitive story of, you know, the Sway boys are douchebags was kind of the image. And I kind of had this wall up where I was like, I didn't care what media said about me, but at the same time, I knew who I was as a person and I was getting represented differently. So I knew I had to like make some change there and say, look, like I love to have fun and party. Yes. But I'm also a very intelligent young man. And like, I have this entrepreneurial side to me that you guys are all missing. And I think that when I just had hit a point where I realized I lost myself to that life of LA. And I think like that partying too much, I just really held myself accountable and was like, there's going to be a change. Like you are not this person even that you're acting like now. So just snap out of it. And that's what I did. And that was probably about 7-8 months ago, I would say. And I just had a really deep talk with Michael. Michael had talked a lot with me over the last 3 months just about it, saying like, yo, let's go. Come on. This isn't you. Like, let's get into it. And I sat down with him and I was like, dude, I'm ready. Like, let's do this. I'm full blown 110%. Let's focus on the entrepreneurial side. Like, this is who I am. This is what I want to be. And then we started. So the craziest thing about this is like, everyone thinks we've been going headstrong 110% for the last 1.5 to 2 years, but we really have only been like rolling for the last 7 months. So imagine if we had like 1 year and 4 months to have been doing this, like in another 7 months, it's gonna be crazy.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's, you know, there's great advice I got like third party. So funny enough, like a girl that I knew grew up, or not, sorry, she was best friends with Ryan Seacrest best friends. It's a weird chain, but right. I used to hang out with all of them. And these two guys that like grew up best friends with Ryan Seacrest as a kid. And they used to tell me when I was like, for like 21, they used to tell me, yeah, when Ryan Seacrest got his radio show, he went all in because he's like, I don't know when this runs out, but I'm going to take advantage of it. And then he went from the radio show to American Idol to producing his own shows to boom, boom. And he just never stopped. And he still never stops. He's known as one of the hardest working guys in Hollywood. He's like, I don't know when this runs out, but I'm not going to give up. And that always resonated with me. The same thing you're saying is like, if you don't know when it goes away, you don't know how long the hype lasts. But if you keep working at it like it's going to go away, it doesn't, because you keep that kind of
like you got to realize you have the lightning in the bottle. So exactly. It's just continuously pushing.
Yep. No, that's exactly it. And so at this point, how many companies have you guys invested in?
I think at this point, we are in a total of around 20 to 25, I would say personally.
And this is using the money you're making from deals with your TikTok stuff and everything, and then putting that money to work. Is that how this is going?
This is money from my YouTube AdSense. This is money from the Creator Fund, from TikTok, from brand deals, everything. Like honestly, any monetization.
And then investing it into venture deals.
Yeah, it's angel. It's real angel investing.
That's awesome. And so, and then you've got the Silly Bands deal you just did.
Yeah, we just did an M&A with them. It's such a cool deal. The nostalgia behind it. I remember going to recess like every day with a pack of Silly Bands and trying to trade up and like get the rare ones. So I just think it's it's such a passion project at the same time. Like it's something that's just like so cool to me, but also something I believe in so much and have such high conviction towards.
No, that's awesome. And that's how it should be. You got to have fun. I again talked to Michael about this. Like if you're not enjoying it, then don't do it. Like work's hard. Yeah. And if you're not enjoying 100%. It, it's a lot harder. And so two last questions for you. Number one, what's next? Obviously you have a lot of excitement in the near future, but like, where do you want to take this? What's your dream, your long-term vision of what you're doing?
I think that what's next is, I don't know if you saw the release today, but the production company with Mark Wahlberg is like a dream come true. I can't stress that enough. That's crazy to me. Idol, like so happy about this. And I think like, I don't want to not focus on that. That's the thing. Like, I really do want to focus on that a lot for these next few months and just really get to understand the space completely, just like immerse myself in it as much as I can, to the point where it's going to be uncomfortable for me, because that's like all that I'm going to talk about and learn about. I just, like I said, I mean, like you just talked about with the Ryan Seacrest thing, like when I'm doing something, I'm doing it 110%. I had a couple interviews today and they were talking to me with the Mark Prodco that we're doing. And they were like, yeah, any other cool stuff you want to talk about? Or like, let's talk about some other stuff. And it's like, I'm not here to talk about anything else. Yeah. Like that's the shit I'm doing for the next few months. Right. That's a big focus.
I was on a call with a really big entrepreneur organization called YPO that you're on your way to joining. And they were talking about when people are getting interviewed, all these CEOs are so bad to interview because exactly that problem. They all want to talk about the 30 other things. Like, no, focus on this. Like,
it's
awesome that you figure that out. It's so important. That's literally what they teach you in media training. And I don't know if you've had media training, but that's important. It's like,
I mean, I've had a little media training, not a lot, but a little bit.
Nice, man. And so last question, and you've alluded to some of this, but let's say someone else wants to just pursue their dreams, whatever that is, whether it is becoming a content creator or whatever, like what would be your one piece of advice? What do you think it takes to really get there that most people don't think about?
Yeah, I think the thing that's missing is the true, like I use this word a lot, but the authentic passion behind it, right? Like there's so many people that are passionate for something in the wrong way. If they're passionate about the money they can make from it, if they're passionate about the fame that comes with it, if they're passionate about, but like you got to understand what you need to be craving and what you need to want is what that thing is that you want to be, what that job is, what that future is. It can't be the things surrounding it. If you want to be a pro hockey player because you want to make a lot of money, probably not going to be a great hockey player. It's just like how it's going to be. So there's a lot of people that will come to me and say, Josh, social media looks so like you can make so much money from it. I just want like, that would be awesome. I would love to just post videos and become famous and make money. I was like, well, you're not going to then. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like they say it, like they'll come to me and they'll be like, what? Wait, what? Huh? I'll be like, yeah, you won't be famous. I'm sorry. You saying that right there, like you can't become big in this space if you don't have a kid. Because you know how many kids there are out there that do have that passion, that do have that heart, that do have that care, that will literally put in 24 hours a day. They will not sleep. They will stay up all day long. They will go on social media and study. They will be watching, like they're not watching videos for entertainment. They're watching it to actually learn and study mannerisms and understand what catches people's attention. Like those are the kids that are going to win. Yep. Every single time. Does not matter if you have one blow up video, you're not making it unless you have the passion, and it won't last unless you have the passion. So that's the biggest thing for me.
100% agree. Well, Josh, this has been awesome. Excited to see where you take this, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to the Hawke Media Podcast. To ensure that you never miss an episode, make sure to subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.